morning, and welcome to Motion. As we are still waiting for some more participants, we'll have a little bit of time to spend and to spare. And yeah, maybe you want to use the time to get something to drink or take a deep breath or whatever you want to do, whatever you need to get ready for this long day. Yeah, I think we'll take another 5 minutes and then we'll jump right in. Okay? I'm really happy that you're here, and yeah, I'm really excited about this day. So it's gonna be good. Welcome. Now I think we're all set and ready. Good morning to everyone. I'm Matthias, and we already know each other from writing emails, and I'm your host today and organizer of this event. Before we get into working and hacking and all the informative stuff that we will hear today, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself and how I got the idea for Motion. I'm a visual designer and, most importantly, motion graphics enthusiast and ocean lover. And so for me as a designer, it was always important to connect people with my passion and through my passion. And so I started to work at the Anscha campus here in Kiel, which is a co-working space. And so I got the idea to create a, well, not virtual event for motion designers, but as last year changed everything in our lives, the physical event became an online event. And so I really hope that we will have a great time together in 48 hours. And my connection to the Anscha campus is quite strong, grew quite strong in the last months and years. And I'm really happy that we can do this here. And yeah, also a big thank you to the Anscha campus. But we will have Sophie, who is the project manager in Anscha campus. I've got her with me today, so she will tell you a little bit more about the whole venue and the Anscha campus itself. Sophie.
Hello. So great to join the stage with you. I feel like
I think we have to unmute the microphone.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Perfect.
I was just talking to myself there. Yeah, it's so great to share the stage with you today, Matthias, here. I'm really excited. I've known Matthias for a little bit, maybe a little bit longer than he has known me. I've kind of stalked his work. And I think 2 years ago, you did an exposition here at Anscha campus. And I saw it and was just like, I need to get Matthias to join us at Anscha campus. And it maybe took a year of convincing, but then now he's here and part of our team. And I'm so excited to see this motion happening today, because I'm very sure it will be an awesome event. And my role today will only be to introduce a little bit about Anscha campus, and then I will leave the stage to Matthias and to you guys, because that's what today and this weekend is all about. But yeah, just briefly, where are we? I mean, right now we are online, but we are at the Anscha campus, which is a creative hub in the northern part of Germany. We are a historical hub, so we have buildings that are from a former military hospital, and we are transforming them into a place for creative impact. and our focus is on art, design, and transformation. So we are trying to really enhance the potential of creativity, of creative competences to enable to work out in the society. And I think today is like the best example of how you can do that. So excited for this. And in the past, we had a Danish-German project called Wechselwirk, which was a project where we enhanced the connection to Denmark and did a lot of great things. We did a creative retreat where you could have a work week and join forces with other creatives. We did innovation festivals, big festivals, small events, hackathons, and so on. And we will definitely continue this journey also. So yeah, keep connected, join us on Instagram and Facebook and see what we're doing, because there's some good stuff happening in the future as well. And I'm sure Mathias will be part of it too. So yeah, and I think the motto is just also for this and for what we're doing, let's do it together, right? So yeah, have fun.
Thank you, Sophie. And yeah, also, again, thank you for having us here today and making this possible. It's really cool and is helpful. So I'm really looking forward to that and to the moving kois and fish and dragons. So thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
Next up is Carlo. He's joining us from Barcelona, and I hope, Carlo, you are with us. Are you here? Carlo is with us. He would like to be a jellyfish. Also, I love those guys. I meet them on a regular basis when I'm swimming in the Baltic. And his specialty is to be announced. So, Carlo, maybe you can just give us your short thoughts about your piece of work and what your favorite tool of animation would be.
Hi, good morning. My connection is quite bad. I hope you hear me well. Yeah, about that work, it's just one piece of a series of
You could, I don't know, maybe you could text us, maybe you can write your just your thoughts into the chat and we will read that for you if this is possible for you, if you can hear us. If not, please come back to us. Oh God, I think he lost the connection. We'll get back to Carlo later. I'm glad he is here with us, and so yeah, he's coming back right now. So let's go a little bit further because time is running. Time is animation, as we would like to say today. Next up would be Elena. Elena is joining us from the city of Kolding in Denmark. Denmark, sorry. She also would love to be a jellyfish, and also her specialty will be decided during the event. That's how what I got from her email. Elena, are you with us right now? No, she's not with us yet, so maybe we'll come back to her later. Then we have Katja. Katja is a freelance graphic designer based in Kiel. She would love to be a turtle, and her specialty is working with Illustrator. I don't think Katja is here with us right now because she said she had to take care of her children. So yeah, we might skip for now and go further to Emma. Emma, you were with us. I saw you already. You are joining us from Viborg in Denmark, northern Denmark. And you would like to be a mantis shrimp, also really cool. And yeah, you got two tools that you would like to use. That's After Effects and Cavalry. And maybe you could just tell us a little bit about this frame of work.
Right. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. Nice. I'm very glad to be joining. Very excited. So this piece of work is an illustration work. It's the Red Riding Hood reimagined, and I put it here because because I like illustration. I love designing characters, and I love putting stories into my work. And this kind of worked out, I think, and I hope the story is conveyed. So, and I'm excited to develop some ocean stories as well this week.
Cool.
Weekend.
Yeah, me too. I'm really curious what you guys will come up with. And yeah, really cool style. I really like the illustrative style. So that's really promising for the next days. Next up will be Gil. I'm pronouncing it right. Gil is joining the event from Brussels. He would like to be a sea anemone. Um, and he works with After Effects. If you could choose one tool. So, Gil, are you with us now? We will have to check with the producer. No, he's not yet with us. So we'll also skip and go a step further to Alexandre. I hope this is, I hope I'm not over exaggerating your name, but Alexandre, you're from Paris, and you would love to be a North Atlantic right whale, or a huge animal, really cool, and your specialties are Houdini. Alexandre, maybe you could just talk shortly about this piece of work.
Yes. Hi, all. So, do you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, it's okay. So, yes, I work in a research laboratory. We are specialized in ultrasound imaging. And so I've done this image to illustrate a work we just published in a Nature Biomedical magazine, a scientific journal. So this is to illustrate the technique that we use to reveal the vascular structure of the brain using some contrast agent.
Really cool, really interesting topic, and it's always great to have somebody with a scientific background within the crew. So that's might be coming in handy later.
Yes.
Good to have you, Alexandre.
Thank you.
Really cool that you're joining us from Paris. That's really cool. Next up is Anne-Catherine. She's also from the city of Kiel. She would love to be an alga, a plant. Sorry for that. And her specialties are twin motions and cinema 4D, which I know best because I'm teaching cinema 4D at the Mathias University of Arts and Design, and she was one of my students there. So nice to have you with us, Anne-Catherine.
Good morning. Thanks for being here. And yes, I don't know how to pronounce algae either, but yeah, it's like I developed it last semester in the subject shifting shores, and it's about how to connect the ocean or like animals in this case, or like plants in this case, with a city structure, and how to develop a future city where you can have like a symbiosis with the algae. So this is now tubes which connects the ocean with the city, and the algae is like flowing in those tubes. And for example, the algae is known for reducing CO2 emissions. So yeah, so in the future maybe we all might have a city of algae.
Cool. Really, really, really also super interesting to combine your skills with city development and yeah, nature science. That's really, really interesting. Yeah. So we're going further, and I hope Saleh is with us. I know he's not with us yet, so it's too early probably, and the weather is too good at the moment. Maybe all of them are jumping into the Baltic and having a bath before they start. So, but we will get back to that. He also would like to be a turtle. We already, I think, had a turtle today. He's from Kiel, and his specialties are Unity, Blender, and Adobe premiere. So he will also be a good contributor during the hackathon. Then we have Falco. Falco is also a student from Kiel. He would love to be a choral or chorals, plural. And his specialties are Cinema 4D, particles, and the Octane renderer. Let's see if he is with us. I guess not yet. So yeah, well, so it's always good to have some surprises later on. So I hope all of them will join us during the day, and we will learn more about them and their work. But for you, it's good to know the names and the style already. So we will see. So here's Linda. Linda is also from the city of Kiel. She would be Kostas Yella Kuroshima, which sounds really interesting. I would have loved if she could tell us about this species, but we'll see. Her specialties are After Effects. And Linda, are you here already, or are you still taking a bath in the Baltic? No, I think she will join us later. And last but not least, we've got Cedric with us. He's from Flensburg, even further north from Kiel. He would like to be an Arctinus orca, which is, I guess, an orca whale. I don't know for sure, but it would be nice if you could tell us about that. And his specialties are Cinema 4D and After Effects. And Cedric, are you with us? No, I got okay, then we have to wait for all of our missing participants for later, and maybe you can exchange your thoughts within the lunch breaks and later during the team up. So now, as we already got to know some of you a little bit, let's dive a little bit deeper. Pardon? I've got a message from my producer, sorry. Carlo. All right. Yeah, of course. Carlo is back. I got that message that Carlo is now back. And Carlo, could you now tell us a little bit about your work before we go deeper into getting to know you all?
Yeah, sure. My computer jumped out the meeting. Sorry. Yeah, actually, I joined this meeting, but I'm not so much into motion, but I'm really interested in that. I'm more on like Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop a lot, but a little bit of Premiere and After Effects. And this is just one part of a series of posters I made, personal project. I mean, I like this one because it was more like researching on balance in the composition, and also with using Blender to generate this spiral, and yeah, playing with the like natural perfection and geometry, you know. And I think it fits also with the ocean context, so I choose it.
Definitely, and yeah, like I already said, it's really good to have talented artists and designers at your hand if you want to create stunning animation, because yeah, animating itself is a quite long, it's a very intense process, and so you can team up later and split the tasks in between with your skills, you know, like you can see who's got which skill. So right now, I think we have everyone introduced who is here at the moment. So I would like to, for now, I want to do something to make you, sorry, to get you going. I would like to first of all, get to know you a little bit deeper, because the next 48 hours will be intense, and it's always good if you want to work with somebody to know each other. And also, I would like to get you going with like being practical, not just sitting there and listening and telling. So for now, I would like to ask you if you could all jump into the Miro board. It will take a little bit because you have to sign up, but then you should be able to join us for our little icebreaker event, which is the Stinky Fish event. Sounds weird, but I will explain it to you what's all about this event, this format. So please just use the link we sent you to get into the Miro board. I hope that works for you, so we can all meet here together.
There was the pop-up information that one has to be accepted after clicking the link for Miro by the host.
With signing up on Miro, please give us a short shout, and we will try to fix that. And if it doesn't work at all, we will figure something else out.
Do you have to check us
so
in?
Meanwhile, while you are signing up to the Miro board, I will tell you about this stinky fish. Oh, wait, there's Emma. Emma, you raising your hand.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's asking for permission. So it's apparently closed. So you might have to confirm.
Pardon, I didn't get that from because I had a sound issue. Could you?
I will write it in the chat.
I'll have to see how this works. Ah, okay, I've got an email. So let's see how this works. I have to give permission to you. Ah, okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't see that. I had to give you access to the board. Sorry. I need to do that. I will do that quickly and mute myself. And so now we have Emma. I hope this all works perfectly. Alexandra also would like to be on the Miro board, and Micha. So Anne-Katrine is already on the board. I can see her cursor. You can see that as well. And we are meeting on the light blue frame, which is already called Stinky Fish, and you can see the most stinkiest fish that might exist. This is the
Zomström. Yeah. Don't eat it at Kiel week in the crowd.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could eat it at the Kieler Woche at the event.
No, you cannot, but you shouldn't also. You can order that just, I think,
really?
from Sweden. But I think one should never open one of these cans in the crowd. Never.
What I heard, yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see if everyone is here now. No, Carlo is also now joining us. So let's see. I hope now all of you are on board. Perfect phrase. So, what is it with a stinky fish? A stinky fish is like a picture for thoughts that you carry with you, and the longer you carry them with you, the stinkier they get. So, and we are talking about, well, motion is all about hacking ocean science, and the future of our oceans is one of the most urgent topics of humanity at the moment, and well, the world. But as we're humans, let's be egoistic and just think about the human. No, but it's a really urgent topic, and I think. How do you get to know a person better than if you share some deep thoughts and also some fears or thoughts that create anxiety? So let's get rid of that. Let's get it out. Let's take out the stinky fish. And I would like you to just take a sticky note, which you can find on the left side of the screen. You can choose one sticky note, and I will take the green one, and you can just place it on the frame, and then you can type in just roughly what is your stinky fish, what makes you uneasy when you think about the future of the oceans, about what is the reason why you sometimes feel uneasy when you think of the oceans. I also will write mine down. And maybe you could also write down your name. So later, oh no, the names will be posted automatically. So later, within the lunch breaks, you can still go back and see and talk about one's stinky fish. So I will write down my stinky fish. Okay, and I just got the note that you need to write down your names. So I will just type in Mathias in brackets so you will know this is my stinky fish. And maybe you can do the same. Just put it somewhere here on the board. And like I said, later you will be able to go back to that and look at them and read them for yourselves and yeah, have a chat about that. So yeah, thank you for sharing these really interesting and personal thoughts. And we can maybe, as we have still some time left, we can shortly go through them even for the moment. Let's see, what do we have? We've got destroying the very delicate balance of the whole ecosystem. Yeah, that's also something that I can relate to. I think that's something everyone can relate to. The dying corals, absolutely. The speed of ocean pollution, which has already produced an island of the size of a whole country, is sickening you, Micha. Yeah, I can absolutely relate to that. Oh, ocean too acid to let life exist reminds me of a comic concept that I once had, an ocean where no one can touch the water because it's so acid. Really interesting, Carlo. Would really like that. Oh, well, I don't like it, but I think you get what I mean. Human intervention into the ecosystem, like oil pollution, plastic, and so on. Yeah, absolutely. I think, and to more waste and pollution. Yeah. So also, it's really interesting to see that you already have lots of things in common, and this is also a good example why this stinky fish icebreaker is always a good thing, because you get to know that you have things in common with other people. That's always really interesting. So now, as we got, or you got to know each other better, let's have a short kind of break and let's meet up in Zoom again. I will just stop my screen sharing, because now I would love to introduce our first keynote speaker. And the first keynote comes from the Science Communication Lab, which is a design studio here in Kiel. And with us today is Tom Duscher, who is the co-founder, strategist, and design researcher at the Science Communication Lab, but also professor for interactive information design at the Mathias Academy of Art and Design here in Kiel. And to just roughly introduce you the Science Communication Lab, they are not just a design studio, but they focus on innovative visual communication concepts, specifically for science and complex explanation-intensive projects and products. And I think Tom will tell us a little bit more about their work and show us a little bit of, give us a little insight and motivation to see what is possible in science communication and how science communication, how advanced and sophisticated science communication can look like. And I'm really happy that you're with us today, Tom. Thank you for being here. And yeah, tell us a little bit about the Science Communication Lab and your work. And yeah, stage is yours.
Yeah. Yes, Matthias, thanks for having me, and thanks for the invitation, and thank you, Anja Campus, for organization of this great workshop. And I already loved that introduction that you give, and your stinky icebreaker is perfect. I will copy that. And I'm really happy that we're quite international, a small but a fine group, and I really enjoyed to give you some maybe inspiration. I hope so. I will do my best. So I would start a short presentation. It's not especially on animation, but animation is our overall topic. We always work with animation, and so I hope that you find something that is inspiring you, maybe for that workshop, maybe for later. However, I would like to share my screen to you and hope that you all see it right now. Do you see the spinning globe?
Looks good.
Oh, first I have to redo it. I have to check the sound. So I can't check the optimize for video. I hope that you will have a
that's
fluid.
not possible at the moment.
I hope that you have a fluent impression. So yes. So anyhow, I'm like to talk to about 20, not more than 20 minutes, because you are in a workshop. You want to work your own, and you don't want to listen at all. So I would like science.
Could you
yeah
please restart your presentation? Right now we can see your desktop, and the sound was really rough for a short moment.
Okay.
Just restart. Yeah.
Now
better. Looks better. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Just once again, because of forgetting to check. Yes, sound is checked. Yeah. Okay. So our experience with working with ocean science is about 15 years right now. So here in Kiel, we were very lucky because we had a cluster of excellence for science, ocean science, And we, as part of, as the Mathias Academy of Fine Arts in Kiel, we had the chance to join that cluster of excellence. So my background is I'm professor for interactive media at the University of Mathias University of Fine Arts and Design in Kiel. And we were very lucky to join that because this was very unique at that time, that there is a cooperation between scientists and artists and on such a high level so that we could expose our own projects into the proposals. So this gives us the chance to really make exhibitions and make digital exhibits. And we used that chance, and we found out that it is good that if science wants to be excellent, it has the design for the science has also to be excellent. So this was our claim, and with that claim and with that lesson learned from that cooperation with the scientists, we founded the Science Communication Lab in 2015, and this is very important that you see that this is all young guys, and especially two guys I want to mention. This is first Suzanne, because Suzanne is a scientist and he joined our team, and it's so important to have that knowledge of a scientist also in a design or in a creative team, because she is giving us the right background. She's very good in reading and writing papers, because this is not the strength of designers. Is the sound not to understand, or do you? It's good. Okay. So we are very lucky that she's part of our design team. And another person to mention is Konrad, here in the middle with the blue shirt, because he's a very, very talented 3D artist. And he's our art director, and he is the main driver of how we design and how we do that design. So my role is more opening doors and making conceptions, looking forward, what will come. And I think there is a great future for science communicators, of course. So if you're interested right now into science communication, go for it, because this will be a big thing. We need that. And why we need that is, of course, our claim, as I said, because the excellent science which is going on needs to be communicated to the people, because people still don't know about what science is doing and how science is suggesting a better world. And you know all that fact and fiction is often mixed up, and we have to support the science to get the real facts into the people, and they don't have to be boring. The real facts can be very suspending. They could, if you tell it right, people will understand. So to give you an impression, and I hope that the video will work for you, there is a short show reel just to show what we are doing. We're working a lot of a combination of animation and interaction. So for example, the globe is always a big theme for us because it's an overall view. Here we see ocean observation, tracking ocean observation methods. So this is for tsunamis, how tsunamis spread all over the oceans. And you can stand in that go and see the, okay. Yeah, also in medical visualizations, we do a lot of, for example, here, lymphatic system. Yeah, it's not running quite well. There's also classical illustrations of, for example, breast cancer. And here, for microbiome research. So how hosts and microbes do interact with different model organisms. It's very slow motion. yeah, I don't know if that makes much sense, but this is a DNA animation. You can see that projects on our website if you want to have a more fluid impression of that. And we also do some astronomy in in the latest. Do a lot of astronomy work for DESY in Hamburg, because there is a lot of going on of new findings about neutrinos, for example, and where they come from. So this is very, very interesting to us, and it's very important to find visualization styles that scientists do accept as maybe it could be like that. So we also designed black holes, which nobody has seen that near, but scientists say our impression comes quite near to that, how they imagine a black hole looks like. So you see there is a whole spectrum of from macro level to the astronomy and space level of all kinds of science visualizations we did in the last 5 years. And yeah, we are proud about that design awards, because they show that also design institutions support the idea of designers going for science. And every comment on our success was because it's so important that designers go for science. And we are we are convincing, we are using this awards, but we are more impressed about that the scientists themselves honor us and our work and our approach. So this is even more important to us. But if they see that when we say excellent design and awards, they prove that we do excellent design, that's fine. So there must be something right in that thing. But what is that? Excellent design is easy said, and everybody has a different understanding of excellent design. And I will give you a short interpretation which we used to work with. We say this is all about visual thinking. So excellent design is clear thinking made visible. And this clear thinking, this is the most important thing, because design can be everything. But in that case, if you design for science, it has to be clear. It should clear up something. It shouldn't make it more complex than it already is, but make it easier to understand. Not simple, but clear. Yeah, that's a great difference. Don't simplify, but clarify. And here is my famous, and Mathias surely know it, because this is all I tell my students from the beginning to the end. So what can you say about graphical excellence? It is what gives the viewer the greatest number of ideas in the shortest time with the least ink in the smallest space. So this is a quite compressed rule of how to decide how to design. And Edward Tufte is a really straight a person who said, no junk, just the truth. Yeah. And this is more important today than ever. And he says, if you look at a visual design, you should get an idea in a very short time. You should see that, this is about that. And then you should, and this is the goal, that people understand what you want to tell. And you should use less ink for that, and you should use less space for that. And today, of course, when we have animation or motion, it is easier because we don't have to compress it all in one single view. We can tell stories one after another. So this is sometimes easier, but you know all that movies which are so dense and telling so much things in just 1 minute, so that you don't get, you can't remember what you have seen at the beginning on the end, because there is so much information in that. So this rule is still true. Don't overload the people with information. Just focus on what is your main message, what is your main story, which you want to tell. So, and you can just think about, you can structure your visualization, thinking about the 3 stages of understanding, because this is perceiving, it is interpreting and comprehending. Yeah. So first you have to know, what does it show? Yeah. So what is big, medium, and small? What want you to show? Yeah. Do things compare, for example, which is always good in information design to have comparisons, and which relations are existing. Time is a good comparison, because if you think about plastic, how does it change in the last few years? So when there is interpreting, what does it mean? What is good or what is bad? Is it meaningful or is it insignificant? Is it unusual or is it expected? So this is also a good decision to, can I tell what does it mean to us, ocean change? Yeah? And at the end, there is comprehending, what does it mean to me? Is there a main message? Have I learned something? Or should I take any action? So this is always important to, what is your goal of your animation or of your story? Do you want to motivate somebody to go into action? Does he have to change his own behavior? So what we are communicating for, this is very important, because people know a lot about ocean change right now, but they have to act. Yes, and of course they have to vote also, all that. So we know a lot, but we have to take consequences about that. So, and to come to that point, why there is need at the scientists for visualization. So here we have two typical visualizations you get when you ask scientists for, do you have any visuals which we can redesign? And then they come up with something like that is quite different. So you see, yeah, maybe you can guess what we asked the scientists to show us, or what do these two visuals have in common, in your opinion? Okay, there is a globe. Yes, somehow. One is yellow, the other is spherical, and there is colors. But scientists don't think much about colors. They just say, okay, we need colors, let's do colors. But they always use the same colors. They always use RGB, yes. And they have a very small color palette, for example. And this is tracking lines of shipping routes in the left one. Although it looks like there is an insect invasion or something like that, or oil spill or something like that. Very, very dense, but these are shipping routes. And also, like in the other ones, there is also the shipping routes between continents. And the blue, this is ocean observation, autonomous ocean observations. And our approach was first, of course, find a visualization that is consistent. Yeah, you see two dates, 1967 and 2015, and you see how much the observation activities improved. And of course, this is just one picture, and we decided we want to animate that, because then you can see the evolution of the ocean observation. And we did that, getting the spreadsheet data from the scientists. Most of that spreadsheets are open source, so you can have it from the internet, because this is public, or yes, it's open source. And then we loaded that data on that globe. That globe was programmed in a language which is called VVVV, VVVV. It sounds very exotic, but it is a very performative software which can, yes, real-time rendering is very, very well developed in VVVV. So we use that because it is able to handle millions of data points and entries. And then this is a modeling process right now. If you see all that data at once, it doesn't help very much, because that data are very dense and you can't see how something differences or something like that. So we have to redesign it. And this is the process we work. We design and we program, and then we go back to the design and optimize the design. So it's an iterative, interchanging process of designing with developers. And after that, then we have that model, we put it into a poster-like setup. So we have headlines, texts, as you see on the right side. And the final animation looks like that. So we have a time scale, and the globe is interactive. You can move it while the time is running. You can zoom in, and then you can suddenly see something new, all that different patterns which are existing, because the methods they are measuring the ocean, they are different. So here in California, for example, you see they go in and out from landside, and other measuring methods are in the open sea, in the open water, as you see here, and they have really different structures. So suddenly you see something which wasn't clear before, and although the scientists said, we don't need another visualization, we have enough. And then we made that animation, they say, okay, now we see something different, that's interesting. And that's the point where scientists begin to understand that visual artists can help them to not just to explain their science, but even to communicate to their partners or to their colleagues more precise. Yeah? So they have a new view on their research. And this is also in the process, we decide, okay, when it is interesting, then we explain the different research platforms. We also show the tracks of the measuring, and then the people understand, so if I want to measure in the open water, I maybe use that kind of buoy or autonomous floats who are diving down to the seafloor and coming up and sending their data. So they are very autonomous. There are very different methods of measuring the sea, and yes, we have a lot of data from the scientists. They measure a lot, but we have to visualize it. So this is very, very important, so that people can understand how important it is to measure all that measuring, because this is what you can see the change before it's getting catastrophic. One more case study. I thought I just show one, just to give another insight into how we do animation. It's another poster which is called Explore the Ocean. It is done for the Geomar Helmholtz Center for Ocean Research, also in Kiel, and in partnership with the Hapag-Lloyd Cruises from Hamburg, which is building expedition ships. And they want to, because yes, these are small ships, but these ships go in locations where remote locations where normally people don't go to. So they go to the Antarctic, they go to the Amazon Delta, and they always have some research equipment on board, because scientists use that kind of expedition ships to get data. And they decided that they want to have interactive poster on board, so that the passengers on that ships also get informed how scientists do work and why do they do research on the ocean. And this was the result. We had that poster which is telling about the research areas of Geomar. It's about the climate, it's biosphere, geodynamics, and of course that ocean observations. And again, we have that globe on a global scale, and we map the data of the global scale on the globe, and then we go into different chapters. Here you see a rework of our observation poster. So it's more a summary of all we did before. This is the belt volcanism, how the plate tectonics influence the climate, for example, of your jellyfish, which we also love very much.
They have neither brain nor heart. Well, This description is a bit unfair to them. These small animals are also very beautiful. They live all over the world and are tough survivalists.
Okay, so this is a work which it took us, all in all, it took us 1 year. To produce it, it took half a year. Yeah, but it was a lot of work, you can imagine. Yeah, this is and after all, this is the summary of 5 years of doing visualization for marine science. And just to give you an impression, what can a workshop, for example, in that short time do, because we didn't start with all that in mind before. So we did start at the very beginning. We had just the idea of how do we combine the global information, which is of course very, very necessary when you talk about oceans, and how can we pick up out of this big oceans just a small piece of a volumetric segment, yes, or a cutout, and how do we visualize in that in the segment the specific research topic, for example, volcanism, yeah. And you see on the right side, this was the result. There was a half a year of work between the first sketch of the idea and the result. But what is interesting, when we presented it to the client, to the scientists, it was very, very important, but it was already animated, because when we just would have presented the visuals, they wouldn't get the impression of how it will work. So it's very important to have also an animated sketch of your idea before you get the job to finalize it. And you see, we also changed a lot of things. So the globe is going up and not down, like here. So we also had a lot of insights. Will it work if you go on like that? Yeah. And so, but this was the important thing, was the first idea of a style of visualization was born in that very first sketch. And also the idea of that we want the scientists talking about their science, just as they are standing in front of a poster and explain it to the people, but on board they couldn't do that. So we decided that we have original sound or talk of a scientist to comment on their science, so that it is easier to understand. Because people don't want to read so much on screens, so it's easier to listen and to watch. So to pick up again with this ocean plastic thing, I want to show you the data behind that ocean plastic thing. So first of all, there are the patches, the garbage patches in the ocean. So we have to find data about how much data is existing about the patches. We know where they are, but we don't know how much about the detailed numbers of how many plastic things are there. And we had to find out, of course, rivers are a lot of drivers for plastic which comes into the ocean. So most plastic comes from the rivers, the rest comes from winds and so on. And so we go and research, where do we find numbers about that patches? And the next one, where do we find numbers about plastic and microplastic in the oceans? And so we do that research. Is a lot of work before you even paint the first pixel. So we found figures about the rivers, which is on the upper left side. We found rivers data about the principal size of plastic waste. Yeah, So are they large pieces or are they smaller ones? You see count and weight, for example, is already measured, and you got the numbers for the different oceans. So there is already some data which you can work with. But the most interesting finding was this graph, because this graph already tried to segment in the pie chart the different kinds of plastic. Yeah, and so somebody already thought about it and how to visualize it, and they visualized it in a classical pie chart, and this is perfect for animators. So if you find something like that, this is a story, like Edward Tufte said, tell it just in a second, but then everybody gets the idea, then it's good. But this, yes, it's not good in our sense, because this is not dramatic. It's just an information, yeah. But this doesn't make anybody the heart blood, or it does not make you think about how to change the situation. This is just an information, yeah? And so we took that information of a pie chart, took it out and segmented our volumetric model into that proportions of a pie chart. Yeah? And we had that information of which kind of different plastics are there. So for example, synthetic textures, tires, city dust, road markings, marine coatings, personal care products. So they have all split it up here, and our decision was, okay, we do it like the other volumetric models. We segment it into the right proportions, and then we have to fill it with plastic. That easy. And I would never be possible to fill it up with plastic in that style. But Konrad is a guy like that. He just put things together like, I don't know, magic. He just took the particle animation, yes, which is, of course, we all know particles can do a lot of multiplied things, and so we have a flow of particles. But he linked the models of the plastic parts onto that particle. Yeah, Mathias already knows that. I know how he did it, and somehow this is, I don't know. I just want to convince you that go into 3D. It's so big. You can do everything, and this is a sketch and a final and a rendering at the same time. Yeah, it's really great. I'm really impressed in what you can do with 3D animation, and it's a very different level of what you can reach with other tools. And so it looks very easy that, okay, you have two informations about the rough plastic, the parts, and then you have the proportions from the graph, and then you can segment it like it was in that graph, yes. And the result really was something I didn't imagine that this was possible, and I hadn't seen it before. That kind of, and this is what we want to tell to the people, that it is really dramatic. This is no fun anymore. This is really getting us sick. Yes, and this is a very different image of that. I think you all agree, and this is what animation can do. They can do emotionally involve the people and say, stop now, we have to act. So I want to show you the whole part of this animation. That's the last thing, because one thing we decided, as it is part of the poster, we didn't want to over animate it. We wanted for people to listen to the text of the speaker, so that that it is not that overloading of information, but you can watch that image and you can listen to
has turned into one of the biggest problems of our time. In some places, our oceans today resemble plastic soup. An estimated 5 trillion plastic particles float on the sea surface alone, but most of them sink to the bottom of the sea. How much plastic floats in water column and how much lies on the seabed is unknown. The extent of the problem can now be seen in remote and inaccessible places. In the Arctic deep sea, at depth of several thousand meters, plastic particles have been found, and their concentration has doubled in the last 10 years. Here you can see a model distribution of all types of plastic in the sea according to their weight. Over 80% of them are parts larger than 5 millimeters. Plastic reaches the oceans via many routes. Around 40% come from rivers. The rest is plastic waste left behind at beaches or blown into the sea by the wind. Aquaculture, ships and fishing are additional sources. Plastic doesn't dissolve in water, it accumulates. Tides, waves and sunlight break down larger pieces of plastic into smaller particles. The result is microplastic. Plastic can be dangerous, especially for marine mammals and seabirds. They confuse the plastic particles with food. Their stomachs fill up, but they don't get any nutrients. Many animals therefore starve to death. Sharp corners and edges of plastic parts can also damage their inner organs. 4 out of 5 sea turtles get entangled in nets or swallow plastic. An estimated 100,000 marine animals, such as whales or dolphins, and up to 1 million seabirds die from plastic waste in the ocean. There are 2 types of plastic in the ocean: macro and microplastics. Microplastics refers to all parts that are less than 5 millimeters in size. The term macroplastics is used for all other particles. Microplastics either are directly washed into the sea as small particles from land. These are primary microplastics, or are formed when larger pieces of plastic break down into smaller ones.
Okay, so our principles for excellent visualization are that you have to be trustworthy at first. Yeah. So what you show should be accurate. It should not be overdriven, or it shouldn't be overt. It should be accurate. This is also what Tufte says: show the data and don't show too much automation, for example. It has to be accessible. Yeah, people has to understand what it shows. Yeah, it makes a product usable and data visualizations comprehensible. Yeah. And it has to be elegant. Elegant in a sense of it has to be timeless, or it has to be yeah, it's another term as aesthetics. Yes, and I think elegant is a more long livable visualization, not just a modern, the hype of today, but that it is more or less timeless. So this is also what the Rams, for example, a famous designer for Brown Electronics, says that his goal was to design elegant products, and therefore they are reduced and more simplified than others. Yeah, so I hope that this was the kind of inspiration you need for to have some fun now with the workshop. And yes, I hope that this was kind of inspiring you. Thank you.
Well, let's give Tom a big applause, at least a virtual applause. Yeah, thank you, Tom. Wow, I just want to jump up and go to my desk and start working when I see your visualization.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. I know your work. I know the work of the Science Communication Lab a little bit, but getting such a cool and interesting insight is even more motivating. So I hope I also speak for the participants here. Thank you, Tom. That was really, really, really interesting,
welcome.
motivating, and such a cool process, in-depth process view, which is really, really helpful. So,
Thank you.
is there anybody in the crowd that would like to use the chance and ask some questions? Is there something that you would like to know from Tom?
Yes, please. If I can ask something, I will start saying that it's beautiful. Really, the work you showed, it's amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
Seems like a very clarifying presentation, Tom. Yeah, and you also. I wrote down some questions, but I think you kind of already answered them. One question was, what makes science communication innovative? And you mentioned the animation as one tool. So how about the interactive moment? So if you create interactive animation, how is your experience, and how do viewers and users take up with, let's say, an interactive poster, for example?
Yeah, first thing is that it is easier to structure, as I said, complex topics into steps so that you can decide how deep your information is, and the users, they really, the first version we did was for scientists to explain their science, so standing in front of a poster as they did before with the classical ones, and to explain it. And this response was very, very good, because they said this is more like PowerPoint, because PowerPoint was just one slide after another, and if somebody asked a question, they had to go back to the PowerPoint, or maybe they weren't prepared for that question. And on that poster, for example, to showing effects of a tsunami, they just could go to a location. They go to Japan and said, okay, see what happens in 2000. When was it? Is it 10 years ago right now? Already 2011. And then we can explain it like that. So it was very dynamic to help people to answer their questions to the science. Yeah. And the poster on the ships right now, where also people can come back and study it again, so they can just come more often, because they have just 50 minutes time or so. They examine one thing, and then they come back and do it another. So they can decide on their own the flow of the information. This is maybe the important one. And innovative, I think there is so much innovation in design always, and I think it is very, very good when people like you here in the workshop start thinking about how can I use that innovation for telling scientific topics. Is it 3D? Is it VR? Is it AR? I think this technology is, it's more worth than just selling cars, for example. Just trying to, if VR is perfect for somebody to dive into a lost coral reef, maybe he gets an impression and thinks new about the problem. So just absolutely. Use what's going on.
So the main benefit is to get a deeper emotional communication with the community that makes the change, that will be the change. People will be the change. So
yeah, you brought it to a point, to get the emotional effect of our today's media, but to be careful, not because science has to always be trustful. That's the difference.
Not selling cars. So
not selling cars.
There's a question from Carlo. Carlo, raise your voice.
Hi, and thank you so much for the presentation. Amazing, really. I wanted to ask, because my main concern is that that's beautiful, and it's really clear to see and to understand that really difficult concept. But how can you deliver that information to everyone? I mean, what is the media? Is it a website, for example, or like a screen in public, or it's just in a museum or in a specific place? Because I think the potential it's huge, really, it's really huge. But
yeah, you can't see it.
I don't know how many people can see it actually.
Yes, this is our greatest problem, because we have that posters which are installed, as you said, in a museum or on a ship or in an institution, and there's not much traffic at that nice things. And we want to switch over to HTML, to web-based content, and we just wanted to do it in WebGL, if it tells something to you. So but when we see that the performance of the software we use right now is reached with web-based technologies, we will switch to HTML, of course, because yes, it's true. You can't have that poster with you. You have to transport it, or you have to decide where to put it. And we want to go more onto online platforms, but we lose a lot of brilliance, of course, yeah, because then you have a slow connection problem like we had here in the talk, and yeah, that's the point. But we try.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo, also for your question. There's another question from Anne-Catherine. Anne-Catherine.
Yeah, thank you. Really inspiring. It's just a small question, and I'm actually living in Kiel right now, and it's really interesting to combine design and science. And I'm just wondering if you offer like also internships for like a month, 2 months, or 3 months.
Yes, of course.
Cool.
I forgot it to tell, but of course we're always looking for talented people. Of course, we have a lot to do, and but not a month. We would really show success to do an internship, so at least 3 months, or better is 6 months, of course, because time goes by so fast, and so it's 6 months is perfect. Yeah.
Super. Thank you.
So if you're interested, and if you're in Kiel, step on in, and when we're in the office again.
Good.
But now we have an internship from Munich, for example. It also goes via Zoom right now, so all remote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always good. I really would like to encourage you all to take the chances you get within Motion, within the hackathon, to, like Anne-Catherine, face the speakers, ask for an internship. If you're interested, then this is the chance to really get closer to the people who do great work. Yeah, there's another question by Micha. Micha, what's
hi.
in your heart?
Yeah, actually, an idea. I think you're greatly connected in Kiel. So I think there's right now attempts and insights of the Wissenschaftspark and also the currently running Waterkant Festival to maintain blockchain projects, which puts data on the internet, on the blockchain, which is then accessible worldwide without having a computer that needs to maintain a specific performance to perform a 3D video from a program, or so on and so forth. So that could be solving an issue regarding the portability of data, like also 3D models, posters, or animations in the future. And that might be a good idea to look into.
Really?
Yeah, right now
you're telling me that blockchain is doing PC power for
blockchain could hypothetically be used to that. I'm relatively new into that, so we had a blockchain sessions from Open Campus, which had last meeting yesterday. But this sounds very promising, and there's already big data collected into the blockchain and to these smart contracts, whatever they perform there. This could be a possibility to have to have huge amounts like 3D movies, blah blah.
Yeah,
I
I have to write that down.
Yeah, I think Wissenschaftspark, I don't know yet, but I will look into the Mattermost. There's two major contact persons. One is for Open Campus, of course, but there are two doctors who could not attend because they had to attend WaterCon Festival as speakers. Let me check the names and I come back to you.
Maybe
That's nice. Thank you, Michael.
Share the names within the chat for everyone.
Yeah, check that.
Find them. That would be perfect.
Give me a minute.
Well, thank you, Misha, for this really helpful information, and it's super interesting to see what's possible, right?
So don't hesitate to contact me if you have a question, not right now, but maybe after the workshop, or I will answer it as I can.
Is there another question? Sarah?
Sarah.
Yes, I don't have a hand raise button, so I have to do it. I have a kind of copyright question. You mentioned that a lot of the data you use is open data, but you also showed that pie chart, which you extracted data from, if I understood it right.
Yeah.
And I always wonder with scientific research, what parts can I use and which parts are like protected? I mean, if there is a paper about a scientific issue, can I just use the numbers, or do I have to ask? Or
yes, we always name the source. That is very, very important. Name the source, but if it's published in a paper, it is intended to be shared. Yeah, yes, but you have to. Yeah.
But so many papers are behind paywalls. That's
okay.
Why I'm so insecure about it, I think.
Yes, this is not because of the papers. This is because of the organization who publishes. But the papers are published, yes. And Suzanne, for example, they have so many tricks of getting to papers which are behind paywalls. So if you need tips, ask a scientist. Often every paper you can have without paywall today. And I will be careful if I use it one-to-one. So we didn't show the pie chart. I just showed it to you, but this was our first inspiration. But we name a source. Yeah, there's a lot of 2 pages of sources in that poster. So this is the most important thing. And then it is a scientific common sense of codex to, if you share something, you have to quote it or you have to name the source. But normally this is no problem.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, any further questions?
So I wish you a very, very productive and creative workshop. So have fun. And I was happy to be part of it in that short introduction.
Yeah, and thank you, Tom, for taking the time. I know today there is a big presentation for you or your students, right? And so you will be busy for the day.
Yes, true.
Would be nice, and if you could join us on Sunday, and if not, of course, we will, as we are publishing the whole event. It's recorded, as you all know. We will publish it via YouTube, and so you can share the link on your websites and wherever. So Tom, you can also be part of the final presentation and the process itself. And yeah, I'm also really looking forward now in what the results will be. And Tom, yeah, thank you very much. If you would like to stay with us, stay with us. If you need to go, if you need to leave, then you're free to do. So.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry that I had to leave right now. And yeah.
So yeah, thank you again, and also all the best for your colleagues and the studio, and I'm really looking forward to see the next big data visualization coming out of Kiel, from Kiel. So yeah, really cool.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. We have a little bit of time to spare, which is good because before we jumped into the presentation from Tom, we did the stinky fish and the little introduction. And now we have two more participants who joined us and who might want to tell us a little bit about their works. So I will share my screen again. This is a little bit off schedule now, but as we are designers, we are problem solvers, right? And so we are good in improvising. So I will share my screen again, and I will jump into Miro. And as soon as I have the connection back right now, I would really like to know from the two new participants what is special about your work. I asked you all to send us an image of your favorite work. And I don't know if, Katja, is it possible for you to just tell us quite shortly something about your piece that you chose? Or
yes, hello.
Yeah, hi.
My English is not good.
Don't worry.
Yes, this is an old work. Today I work at more graphics, but I'm not sure that I can veröffentlichen.
Publish.
Publish, yes, so thank you. And this was one of the first scientific graphic. It is.
I really would like to encourage you all to take the chances you get within mocean, within the hackathon, to like Ann-Kathrin, face the speakers, ask for an internship. If you're interested, then this is the chance to really get closer to the people who do great work. Yeah, there's another question by Micha. Micha, what's
hi.
in your heart?
Yeah, actually, an idea. I think you're greatly connected in Kiel. So I think there's right now attempts and insights of the Wissenschaftspark and also the currently running Waterkant Festival to maintain blockchain projects, which puts data on the internet, on the blockchain, which is then accessible worldwide without having a computer that needs to maintain a specific performance to perform a 3D video from a program or so on and so forth. So that could be solving an issue regarding the portability of data, like also 3D models, posters, or animations in the future. And that might be a good idea to look into.
Really?
Yeah, right now
you're telling me that blockchain is doing PC power for
blockchain could hypothetically be used to that. I'm relatively new into that, so we had a blockchain sessions from Open Campus, which had last meeting yesterday. But this sounds very promising, and there's already big data collected into the blockchain and to these smart contracts, whatever they perform there. This could be a possibility to have future months like 3D movies, blah blah.
Yeah, I have to write that down.
Yeah, I think Wissenschaftspark, I don't know yet, but I will look into the Mattermost. There's two major contact persons. One is for Open Campus, of course, but there are two doctors who could not attend because they had to attend Waterkant Festival as speakers. Let me check the names and I come back to you.
Maybe
that's nice. Thank you, Michael.
share the names within the chat for everyone.
Yeah, check that.
Find them. That would be perfect.
Give me a minute.
Well, thank you, Misha, for this really helpful information, and it's super interesting to see what's possible, right?
So don't hesitate to contact me if you have a question, not right now, but maybe after the workshop, or I will answer it as I can.
Is there another question? Sarah?
Sarah.
Yes, I don't have a hand raise button, so I have to do it. I have a kind of copyright question. You mentioned that a lot of the data you use is open data, but you also showed that pie chart, which you extracted data from, if I understood it right.
Yeah.
And I always wonder with scientific research, what parts can I use and which parts are like protected. I mean, if there is a paper about a scientific issue, can I just use the numbers, or do I have to ask? Or
yes, we always name the source. That is very, very important. Name the source, but if it's published in a paper, it is intended to be shared. There's a lot of 2 pages of sources in that poster, so this is the most important thing. And then it is a scientific common sense of codex to, if you share something, you have to quote it or you have to name the source. But normally this is no problem.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, any further questions?
So I wish you a very, very productive and creative workshop. So have fun. And I was happy to be part of it in that short introduction.
Yeah, and thank you, Tom, for taking the time. I know today there is a big presentation for you or your students, right? And so you will be busy for the day.
Yes, true.
Would be nice, and if you could join us on Sunday, and if not, of course, we will, as we are publishing the whole event. It's recorded, as you all know. We will publish it via YouTube, and so you can share the link on your websites and wherever. So Tom, you can also be part of the final presentation and the process itself. And yeah, I'm also really looking forward now in what the results will be. And Tom, yeah, thank you very much. If you would like to stay with us, stay with us. If you need to go, if you need to leave, then you're free to do. So.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry that I had to leave right now. And yeah.
So yeah, thank you again, and also all the best for your colleagues and the studio. And I'm really looking forward to see the next big data visualization coming out of Kiel, from Kiel. So yeah, really cool.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. We have a little bit of time to spare, which is good because before we jumped into the presentation from Tom, we did the stinky fish and the little introduction. And now we have 2 more participants who joined us and who might want to tell us a little bit about their works. So I will share my screen again. This is a little bit off schedule now, but as we are designers, we are problem solvers, right? And so we are good in improvising. So I will share my screen again, and I will jump into Miro. And as soon as I have the connection back right now, I would really like to know from the 2 new participants what is special about your work. I asked you all to send us an image of your favorite work. And I don't know if, Katja, could you, is it possible for you to just tell us quite shortly something about your piece that you chose? Or
Yes, hello.
yeah, hi.
My English is not good.
Don't worry.
Yes, this is an old work. Today I work at more graphics, but I'm not sure that I can veröffentlichen.
Publish.
Publish, yes, so thank you. And this was one of the first scientific graphic. It is by a doctor and me, and yes, I think it was good work to start in the scientific visualizations. Yes, I'm sorry for my English.
Don't worry at all.
And yes, this was for paper, for publishing, for the doctor, and he published this in a scientific paper. Yes, genau, and he. Yes, I don't know what I was saying.
Yeah, well, no, but that's super interesting, and that's really good to see that you found your way and your aesthetics, and it already, yeah, it just fits perfectly into our whole topic of the day. So yeah, thank you for the little insight. And I don't know how much time you will be able to spend, but maybe you could also stay with us during the lunch break, so people could also talk to you about your work in spatial chat. But we will go back to that in just a few moments. So let's find Cedric's work. He is from Flensburg. And like I said, already said, he would like to be an Orcinus orca. Cedric, I think that's just an orca whale, or maybe you could give us shine some light on that. And yeah, maybe you could just tell us shortly, why did you choose this particular yeah, I know that's this one. Why did you choose this picture?
I chose this picture because it resembles organic growth, so I thought this would be kind of fitting. It is from a series of mine doing some experimentations with particles and more organic motion, as I'm more interested in the animation and the motion of things. And yeah, the Orcinus orca is, of course, the orca, the killer whale.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for your insight. So here's, I just need to check the chat. Okay, there's the message from Michael with the blockchain. So, and I think you all, both Katja and Cedric, got access to Miro, and maybe you could just also, you could do that now, you could do that later. Just take a sticky note on the left hand side here and drag it onto this board and tell us what thought, what fear, what anxiety is in your mind, is in your pocket, and gets stinkier and stinkier, like a fish that already stinks. And just when you think about oceans and the future of the oceans, what makes you uneasy when you think of the oceans? Maybe you could just do that in the next moment. So we already did that all. So, and we got really got a good view that most of us are really worried about the pollution of the oceans and the influence what this process might have on life on Earth. So this is really something that gives us a mutual topic already. So I will jump back into Zoom so we can see each other. Here I am, and for now we are a little bit early. We're earlier than I thought we might be, which is good because this means that we might have more time later to hack. We'll see about that. But now I would like to introduce you a tool which we will need to work together and which we can use to get to know each other and to team up later, which is called spatial chat. I don't know if you know spatial chat already. You will get the link to the room. It's called room 1. I've got one for backup, but you will get the link in the chat now. So you can all follow me into the spatial chat room. I hope that it will work while Zoom is running, but I will try to give you a short introduction so you will be easy working with this tool. I think it's quite handy because it's a little bit more like it allows group conversations and more private conversations, like in real life, you know? We used to have that. So let's go. I'll jump into the screen share and I will go into spatial just to show you around. I need to put that down. All right, so this is something you should see when you open the link. And I put in a picture of myself as an avatar. I wrote down my name and I just showed you, just typed in a little bit, some information about me. I'm an aquaholic, I confess, and motion design enthusiast. So this is something I would like to share with you. And then I can click on continue. Then of course I will be asked if I'd like to use my camera and my microphone. I will switch my microphone. I will keep it for now and just to show you. And then I join the space. So I hope this is visible for everyone. And in spatial chat, you have your avatar, which is a moving image of yourself, which is the camera image, just like in Zoom. But you can use a zoom function down on the right side. I mute myself for now. There's a question from the producer. One moment. Okay, I just got the information that you're not able to visit the room. I will just. I will figure it out later. Micha already managed to get into the room, but we will figure it out and post the link to the room in just a bit. Okay, for now, let me just kind of continue with the introduction of how this whole thing works. You now can either zoom in and zoom out into the room, and you can drag and drop your avatar wherever you want on the canvas. And the closer you get to another person, thank you, Micha, to be the guinea pig for now. The closer I get to Micha on the canvas, the louder my voice will be. And the further away I get, the more you, sorry, now I'm missing the word, the less loud I get. Oh God, sometimes the words are missing. I'm sorry for that. So you can really group together in one corner, let's say at the corals down below, and have a little chat there. Then you can move over to Alexandre or to Micha, and we will be able to talk and so on. I think this is, I really like this kind of the way to communicate in a group, and you can use this space throughout the whole hackathon. It's the basic version, so there might be the issue later that the free minutes, we have a certain amount of minutes to talk inside the chat. It should be fine, but if the minutes are all used up, don't worry, we've got the backup room. Okay, so this is just for the introduction of Spatial. Like I said, we will provide the perfectly working link to Spatial just in a little bit. So back to Zoom, because right now I think, let me see my notes if I have something that you need to know for now. Next step will be the lunch break, and I would recommend to you to use it as a virtual lunch break. So grab yourself something to eat and something to drink, and get back in front of your cameras. Go to the Spatial chat and have a little lunch break together with your new colleagues, because already you got so many in-depth information about each other. Yeah, and I think you've got lots of. I guess you already have lots of things in common and to talk about. So maybe you can use the chance to do so and to get to know each other a little bit better, while having a nice cup of tea and a piece of cake, or whatever you want to have for lunch. A piece of cake would be weird, but well, you're free to eat whatever you want, of course. One thing, as I haven't mentioned that in the beginning, would be the results of this hackathon. The hackathon, 48 hours. We saw, and Tom also mentioned, how long such sophisticated and amazing work takes. The hackathon has only 48 hours, and everyone who knows animation and motion graphics and science communication knows how long things take. So please, don't expect too much from yourself. Have fun. The results can be whatever the results will be, right? So whether if you just want to create a rough layout, if you just want to have some style frames, if you have a little rough animation, or even, I don't know how fast you are and how good your team will work. Maybe you have a 1 hour super cinematic little animation, big animation. It's really up to you, and please don't put too much pressure on the results. It's about the process and about having fun and connect. So this is something which is super important to know with this motion design hackathon. Okay, as we are quite early, let's have a long lunch break. Take your time. I will also join you in Spatial. So if you have any questions so far, you can also meet me there, and we can talk about things. And we will continue on at 1 p.m. Right, producer, Mrs. Producer? Yeah, I've got the thumbs up. At 1 p.m., we will start again in Zoom. So we have plenty of time. Also, we can get a little bit more acquainted with the Miro board. And we will, so you can have a look on the works of all the other participants. You can look at the notes at the Stinky Fish event, at the Stinky Fish frame, and take your time to get a little overview about on Miro, and then we can meet in yeah, almost 2 hours, maybe. Oh, let's say let's meet again at 12:30. Okay. So this is, I hope this is okay with you. So we have a little bit of time to introduce you to the next speakers, and yeah, I think 1.5 hours is plenty of time to get to know each other. Okay, so I get thumbs up, perfect. Then I'll meet you in spatial chat, and I will go offline, off screen in Zoom now. See you in a bit.